Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Hey everybody, episode 301 of The Scope. Smattering of applause. By my calculations, it has been about 6 months, a little under 6 months since our last show.
I knew it had been a while.
June 29th. But in COVID times, that could be a day, it could be 5 years. It doesn't really matter. Time just sort of melts into each other, into various Zoom calls and marathons of Guy Fieri's diners, drive-ins, and dives, which we've watched a lot of.
Have you really? In the last 6 months?
Yes, I will. I mean, this sort of gets into what our show is going to be about, which is finding the brighter spots in the pandemic times. But Carrie and I did this back in 2001 times. We did it back in 2008 when, the stock markets were iffy and it was sort of the end of the George Bush era. But our comfort food always is food shows, and like if we're in the midst of moving or thinking about moving, home repair or home buying shows. But a lot of cooking shows, because it's pretty benign, right? I mean, there's no politics there. There's no people aren't fighting about anything.
There's no agency.
There's no agency.
It just is. Yeah.
So there we go. Guy Fieri. We'll talk about him later, I guess. So it's been a while, everybody, and I figured we'd take the top of the show to kind of talk about what we've been up to in the past 6 months. There's probably a lot to cover.
You would think so.
Get everybody's feelings about the state of the world, that sort of thing. So Adam, I literally haven't talked to you probably in 4 or 5 months. Maybe we've texted a couple of times since that last show. Maybe, I don't know.
So in college already?
September 24th, I messaged you on Hangouts and you didn't reply. That was the last.
Maybe I didn't see that.
Well, then Hangouts shut down, and now that message is lost forever.
Yep, it's gone forever. So Adam, how has your past 6 months been? I mean, you've got the youngest child of the two of us, so your world is preoccupied with being a new dad still, for the most part.
Yeah, that is most days. Most days, I guess it's all days. I did get in October. I did get a brief respite. Mandy took him to her parents for a weekend, and I stayed home and played on an online X-Wing tournament.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Did you dominate?
I started 3-0. Yeah, I started 3-0.
Well, that's great.
And it's feeling really good. And then 4-0, 3-0, and then I lost my next three. The problem with any of these games is you got to submarine your way in. You can't start at 3-0, because then at that point you're playing other people that are 3-0, and then when you lose that match, you're playing other people that are 3-1. So other people that were just 3-0 probably. So you submarine. You start 0-1, and then you're just playing losers for a longer period of time.
Is that a real tactic? Would you ever throw the first game so you could be in that position?
That is definitely a real tactic. It's not something I would do, because I'm not good enough to be like, I'm going to get my wins later. Yeah, I need my wins when I get my wins.
Yeah, that's fair. It's kind of like the Vikings.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
they went 1-5 just to start submarine things, and then they thought they would climb back out.
Because
Super Bowl, baby.
The next games would be all against terrible teams, right? That's how that works. Same concept.
Absolutely. No different.
Adam, have you avoided getting COVID-19?
Yes, I have done nothing to increase my risk. So I've lived a boring but COVID-free life.
Have you?
How often do you venture outside the home, would you say?
Oh, other
than outside walks and yard work.
Right. So Will is in daycare, so every day, every weekday, I drop him off. But they have their routine pretty well set. You don't really have too much interaction with any other people. Probably once a week. when things were real bad, it's kind of the last 4 or so weeks, we started doing
as bad as they've ever been. I just think back to like how freaked out we were in like April.
Yeah. I mean, we could have gone in.
There was almost no COVID in this state.
Right.
Yep.
Like literally, like relative to how it is now, there was almost nothing. We had like almost no reason to be worried at all.
Well, we had no testing either, so who knows?
True. So we didn't know, but I mean, I think you can probably safely say there was literally almost no COVID.
We could have walked into Target and licked every cart and been fine.
I don't know if you guys saw that story, Wall Street Journal or something, but the Red Cross, along with some university, started testing blood donation samples, back from like December on the West Coast, and they found antibodies in 20% of the samples, which
it was definitely more widespread than we originally thought. Because you're right, we had no testing. We had no testing. It was probably here in December at least last year. So,
but I mean, we started using Shipped or other sort of services like that. We got a free 6-month trial for that. Free just meaning you don't have to pay their extra markup fee.
$50 a year. I still pay it.
So started doing a little bit of that, but for the most part, like I go to Lund's. It's the closest one to me, and that's like full of old people. So like they take it pretty seriously, and it's usually it's not very busy. So maybe once a week.
I can recall in April going to a Lund's in Byerly's and shopping, and you could visually see like the elderly there were very concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just tell because they knew that they had a target on their back essentially.
And like we didn't know so much, so it's like I was scared of them. It's like, oh, you guys are the main carriers,
right? And also nobody was wearing masks at those times either. It was like,
well, they're also the ones now that don't wear masks. Like it's like, how many noses do I have to see? People, it's frustrating.
I like the guys who are leaving the home renovation center, who literally cannot get 2 steps out the door before that mask is off. Like, oppression.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was a election
25
judge.
Degrees. Stay warm.
Yeah. I was an election judge at our local precinct.
We had an election, right? I mean, in the past 6 months, a little something else on the side.
Yeah.
So that was.
I think our brains were probably a little bit focused on everything in that leading up to it, and that's part of the reason we didn't do a show, because it would have been nothing but politics discussion.
Yeah, but that was definitely my riskiest experience, because I did a full shift there, so I was there at 6, and I left at 9 p.m. And you're required to wear masks, but like people just don't do a great job of it, and it's impossible to stay 6 feet away from everyone there. But I did the plastic shield also nice. That day. It's the only time I've really worn one. So that was like the scariest day. Because afterwards, because we didn't know for a while, so I was like, man, what a fucking waste. Like, I made it very much about me, but I was like, I'll lose the stupid election, and I'm going to get COVID for what? But I guess it was worth it.
You did it.
I didn't get COVID.
Thank you, Adam, for turning the tide in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do interviews.
Yeah,
he does
exactly.
So let me go around. Let's go around the panel. Let me ask some questions about it in terms of what risk level are you, or have you been involved in? So you said you've gone into a grocery store, Adam.
Yeah,
Jared,
weekly. Probably weekly.
Do you go into grocery stores?
Yes. I mean, around Thanksgiving, I had some things I had to find, so I went to a Cub Foods and I went to a Target.
Okay.
I don't do it regularly. Like I do ship for grocery shopping, but I'm in and out, and I am like a laser beam. I'm like a Tron light cycle in that place. I'm like, and then I'm out. Like, I don't dally around in those stores. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I get it, and I get out. I don't feel like I feel like they're reasonably safe because everyone's masked. Yeah. Everyone keeps their distance. Like it doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah. I pre-Thanksgiving and sort of the holiday shopping season, if I made it into a store, whether it be a Target or a grocery store, every couple of weeks, that'd probably be a lot, But I don't really feel super scared to be in grocery stores or Targets or some of those big places, especially like what you said, Jared. If you go at odd times, you shop with authority and you shop with purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reality is that you're probably not going. Your exposure will be limited, even if there are people that are sick in there. Everybody wears masks, so it's
everyone's masked, and we really understand now that it's amount and time of exposure.
Yeah.
Right.
So those incidental contacts, you're fine,
and
like you're not going to get enough of a blast that you're actually going to get infected.
Right.
And I've been to Menards, I've been to Home Depot, in the last few months.
Me too. And there are times this past couple of weeks where I've been in stores multiple times. And again, if you're in for 5 minutes or you're in for 10 minutes, I'm never around anybody. So it's not like I'm going to walk into a weird mist of COVID that just happens to be floating around in the Home Depot fasteners aisle where I'm trying to find some stuff to let me hang things on the wall.
And I think we're just generally way less concerned about surfaces and touching things than we were early on in the days. Like you felt like you just couldn't touch anything.
Gotta wash my box of cereal.
From what I understand, that's that's pretty much nonsense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hasn't Fauci essentially said that?
It's such low risk that it's probably not. I mean, if you feel, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you should wash your hands.
Half my stuff comes in. Yeah, absolutely. Just get home, wash your hands. If you have, I keep hand sanitizer in the car, so I leave a store, I get in, I just lather up with that.
If you're doing lines of Coke off of your cereal box, that's where it's probably risky.
I think that's when you start treading into risky behavior.
That's a pretty serious edge case right there. But
I mean, you got to get your bumps somehow.
It probably happens. And
if you get a little cinnamon toast crunch dust in there too, I mean, that's extra fun.
Yep.
My wife works, as you both know, in a medical clinic, and
I haven't been around a microphone all my.
And transmission between, for her is pretty minimal. I mean, I think that most of the people, at least in her clinic, now this is not high risk compared to hospitals and COVID units, stuff like that, but most people that work there that have gotten it from outside of the clinic. So, So, I mean, again, it's just about being smart and being safe in enclosed spaces. So
do you get, does your place of employment, have they been sending out any COVID updates as like in cases are identified or anything like that?
Oh, you mean like employees?
Yeah.
No,
not specifics, but just like we had a case, we dealt with it.
They do not, like that. They do not share that with us.
You guys are fully remote, right?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yeah.
I mean, the company I work for is not fully remote because they do manufacturing as well. So they have prioritized people who have to be on site. To be on site, everyone else is remote because then they reduce the number of people in the building and keep everything safe. But so I do get the occasional. We've had a person who was on site on this day, test positive. These are the remedial steps we took. We don't think anyone's in danger. Blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
I haven't had any in a couple weeks, but prior to Thanksgiving, there was a noticeable increase in the number of those emails coming in. So you're you can just kind of tell that things are getting bad in the state, but it seems to have quieted a bit there. So that's good. I'm just happy that my company does that, and they seem like they're very transparent about it. So.
For the record, Jared, you got in the past 6 months, you got a new job.
I did. I mean, I was going to save it for the B block, but
Oh, is that a bright spot right there? Okay, fine.
I would think so.
We'll step away from that. But
I mean, little teaser.
So things have changed.
Teaser for the kids.
So I brought up grocery stores. Who here has eaten at a
discotheques
at a patio at a restaurant?
Nope.
I have twice outside.
One of those inside outsides or an actual outside?
Outside. I did not go.
I mean, sorry, one of those outside insides.
No, it is out.
You know how they've built entire enclosed shacks on the edge of the street in New York.
It's outside now. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's outside, except it's fully enclosed.
This is not a.
There's outside inside.
Right.
Or is it
there's worse
outside?
ventilation than there would have been.
There is actually no active ventilation. Right. There's nothing but stagnant air.
8 sheets of plywood, essentially.
Yeah, but it's in compliance. It's outside the actual property.
No,
anyway.
I've been in places where it was low density people and high airflow, so safe there. So I assume neither of you went to see Tenet when it was available in the movie theaters.
No,
not set foot in a movie theater since February.
Yeah.
Maybe. Have I even gone this year?
Would you, if you had the opportunity?
Was The Rise of Skywalker the last movie I saw in theaters a year ago, practically?
Probably. I think that probably was it.
Very well might have been.
That's not a good way to go out, in my opinion. But hey, what do you want? So would you rent out an entire theater for $100 if you could be in there with people you know were not COVID positive?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Who do you know isn't COVID positive?
Well, let's say it's your household.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Well,
say
I'm not going to spend $100 for Angela and I to watch a movie in a movie theater.
$50, baby. Bring it in.
With HBO Max, we don't have to do that anymore. You know?
Right. That's
Is
a
it Jurassic
that's
Park? Can I watch Jurassic Park on the big screen one last time?
I'm going to say yes, you can.
Okay. I think if you could somehow make sure that people are reasonably safe, and you're going to space out in the theater, you got plenty of room to spread out. I think it could be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was if the movie was worth it. Like again, I'm not going to go probably do that just to watch Back to the Future 2.
What
My
about,
wife would just fall asleep, and she'd do that at home too. So no.
So why waste the money? If they were playing a screening of Throw Mama from the Train, I'm in. Period.
Yeah.
That's a
Obviously.
guarantee.
You've got to have your priorities.
That's it.
Throwing Mama from the Train,
Yeah.
top of the list.
So I just checked, and Rise of Skywalker was the last movie I saw in the theater.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. December 20th.
Didn't we see that on? Was that a New Year's Eve movie, Jared? Did we go see that?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we saw it. I think I saw it 3 times in the theater, and that was New Year's Eve we did that. Yeah.
What, you kept waiting for it to get good, or what was the reason for seeing it so many times?
I liked it at the time.
Yeah.
And I still mostly like it. I think it's a fun movie, but is it a great Star Wars movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. In retrospect, I think I like The Last Jedi more. Pretty sure I do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Last Jedi is probably my number one. There's been a podcast.
Controversial.
Well, I know. Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I think honestly, you can make a strong case for The Last Jedi being the best Star Wars film ever made.
I've been listening to a podcast from the people that do Comedy Bang Bang. They had to spin off a podcast because they kept on talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they started a Patreon podcast just to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the podcast is about watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's really about other things. So every episode they have their guest do their ranking of Star Wars, and they have to, each episode they've like said, oh, you have to include more. So it's like Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, blah blah blah. And there's some strong opinions on there about where The Last Jedi should fall. But I know I'm gonna like someone if they put it in the top 3.
That might be a good scope episode right there. Rank the Star Wars properties. I mean, Star Wars is hot, and we'll be talking about that later, just how hot it is. But it's back, baby.
Oh yeah,
it's back, baby.
It's
Yoda.
back.
It's back. So it's good to hear that the 3 of us are essentially keeping safe. But it's not just COVID that we've been dealing with. We've got this whole political thing. Adam sort of teased it earlier. Are we all feeling better now than we were June 29th, 2020?
I mean, I feel pretty good because the storm is upon us, So
right.
I'll feel better January 6th when I know the results of the Georgia runoffs. I mean, I do feel better, but I'll feel even better then.
I have zero hope for that.
I'm not saying I have hope, but if it somehow turns out that we take both those seats, then everything changes.
Sure.
What are the odds that the Democrats take one of those seats?
Very close to 0.
I think it's close. I think they'll take at least.
I mean,
one.
I'm very hopeful. I mean, hey guys, you can look at the polls if you want to.
Honestly, I think it would be weird. I think it's going to be they take both or they take neither.
Yes,
because why would you split your vote?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally haven't looked at the polls, but if you go by,
it's close. They're very close.
If you go by what sort of happened nationally with Biden, you got to chop five points off, right?
Yeah, but Biden won Georgia.
It's true.
It's just a Georgia race. It's
what do you
not
mean
a national race.
Chop 5 points off.
I just feel like if you want, you really have to take in polling error for Dems.
I mean, I think you'd have to specifically.
I don't think you can factor in a national polling error,
Right.
because every state was different. Minnesota was very accurate. Missouri was terrible.
I think that you would have to look at Georgia's polling error. And try to
what do Georgia polls look like?
Yeah.
So let's call up Nate Silver. We got him lined up for the show. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh, we're having Zoom problems.
Oh,
he can't make it.
Can't do it. Oh well, we had him. We had him for a second there, folks. Sorry.
Does Zoom have a Nate Silver filter in their new things now?
They've got to. There it is, right there. Nate, you're here with
just a Zoom hat,
a tiny cap. Well, Adam has no hope. Jared has some hope.
I'm hitting the slopes,
and he's hitting the slopes. And I can't do any of that.
I'm doing it in 3D.
It is sort of an odd feeling to not have utter panic about the president day to day.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, it's still there. There's still shenanigans and monkey business going on. But generally speaking,
it's been nice to see the latest Trump tweet and just go, oh man, just shut up.
Yeah. Instead of
you're just so impotent now.
Right. Instead of have it be some amount of existential dread. Now it's just
what agency is he going to blow up to meet his nefarious ends now?
Well, I mean, today it was, the shower regulations. But
sure. And he's still got his now he's got his new flunky in the DOJ to do whatever crazy shit he's going to do in the last month there.
And their spreadsheet of people that are looking for pardons. That's the big thing.
So I saw that story, but I have to imagine, even if there were only 3 people, you'd have a spreadsheet. I feel like the fact that they really made a big deal of it being a spreadsheet. I'm like, what
are we doing? Hotel notepad here?
Right.
Come on. No.
Yeah, I mean,
no. There's no Best Western sheet of paper here with the names of Michael Flynn and whoever else he's going to pardon.
The question is how many cells
all of the
are
Trumps
filled
except Tiffany.
Yeah, he would never give Tiffany a pardon anyway.
Well, he didn't give Tiffany any jobs to, do anyway.
That girl was doomed from jump.
When she showed up at the RNC, I was like, really? I thought you were just sort of on the outside, just sort of, I'm a Trump sort of.
She brought it when she needed to.
Sure.
So
she had to follow Timothy Guilfoyle, though. The best is yet to come. I'm not going to scream it because I'm not on cocaine.
Right. So, Jared, you'll be more comfortable.
That was our last cocaine reference for the show.
That's it. You'll be more comfortable after January.
I know.
January 6th.
I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we kept the House. The Senate sucks, and it may suck worse. But in the end, Republicans are going to be trash. They've learned that there's no such thing as shame. They can do whatever they want, and they will be the worst people ever until the end of time.
So last question.
All we can do is beat them. That's the only thing we can do. We can't stop them. We can't fight them. We can't shame them. All we can do is beat them in elections. It's the only thing, the only remedy we have.
Last question before we move on to a little pigskin.
Yes, I am John Favreau of Pod Save America.
I'm the other John Favreau.
Is this a lesson that Biden's going to have to learn the hard way, Jared?
What's that?
That they have no shame, and that Republicans will only do one thing, and that is anything to get in the way of Joe Biden being successful.
Right. I think he's going to make a good faith effort to try to reach across the aisle and try to reconcile and to try to bring reason to all of his negotiations. I really hope that once he finds out that that's impossible, that he will wake up and not do that. But he's also 77 years old, and I don't know if he's able to change.
Yeah, he might be. He might still be asleep.
I think he's going into it really, really thinking that he's got all of this history in the Senate. He knows how to work with these people. He knows how to negotiate. He knows how to get favors and do favors. I just don't know if any of that matters anymore. When you've got the crazy pants people that are in there who've discovered that all they can say whatever they want, they can lie however they want, they can do whatever they want, and their people will support them, and the fundraising dollars will keep rolling in, and all they need to do is turn to a sympathetic media outlet to get their garbage opinions out there, and just ride it out until the next election.
Yeah. Because
everything is so broken and so fractured. There's no way we get back to a world where Joe Biden can negotiate in good faith with Republicans. It just doesn't exist anymore. It might as well be Krypton, and it was blown up.
I like the Krypton reference. Adam, you are the closest thing to an official politician here in this group. I mean, you were at the polling place. You risked your life You've got hot takes. Do you agree with Jared, or do you think he's being a bit cynical?
Oh, I think Jared's right. I do feel like the Republicans probably helped, or hurt their own cause, but helped Joe Biden maybe see things more realistically by having 100 of them sign on to the lawsuit, to the Texas lawsuit to, throw out the Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania results. I think when 100 members of Congress sign obviously the, bullshit lawsuit, it's like a step farther than I think, just being like saying whatever, your dumb stuff for
There's
your base.
100 plus people who are openly fascistic and would support an authoritarian, which is crazy.
Like you can't walk that back. You can. That's like, okay, now we know where you stand. The one good thing that
has come out of all of this craziness is they have shown us who they are, and if we're paying attention, now we know they can't be trusted, and we can't reason with them. We can only beat them. Now, far too many people are not paying attention. So that's another problem to deal with. But those of us with eyes wide open have seen it and know that there's no going back. And so and they'll cry their crocodile tears about how the left won't reach out and the left is unreasonable and the left won't negotiate and the left won't do this and that. Whatever. Cry your tears. We've seen who you are. We cannot deal with you in good faith because you are not operating in good faith. It just is what it is.
Wow. This Jared is something else. 6 months has changed you, bro.
I mean, I've known this for a while now, but I'm hoping more and more people see it.
Well, I think as a society, as you said, so many people aren't paying attention in America. And then people always fall back to sort of this normalization bias of looking at things through normalized rose-colored glasses when that's clearly not what's happening. And you need more people to be aware of this and to get past that and see things for what it really is. And then you proceed in appropriate ways.
Yeah, I mean, people would love nothing more than to just not have to pay attention anymore. Just go about their lives, watch their housewife shows, just, play with their kids, not think about politics. But when you do that, then the bad people operate without any sort of light on them. They just do what they want and nobody's paying attention. And that's how we got where we are. So we got to pay attention. We got to hold people to account.
We'll see how it goes. Oh, Jared's reaching in. So
got a little dust on my lens hood there.
Yeah, that's what happens after 6 months. Everybody, this is the moment Adam's been waiting for. It's finally time to talk about NFL football. There she goes. We call this the asterisk season, Adam. So wouldn't it be something if your Washington football team squad, what's their record right now?
6-8, 6-7.
6-7. Vikings record, Jared? 6-7.
6-7
as well.
But we're in a stronger division.
Well, we've stronger, meaning worse chance of getting into the playoffs.
Meaning the Packers are dominating and everyone else sucks.
Yeah. So, Adam, this has been a bizarre football season, has it not? I mean, I think Jared would agree with me, and I'm hoping you will too. Like we've sort of said in jest that it's like it feels like we don't deserve football because as a society we've done so much wrong that it just feels weird and odd. But we do have football. It does continue. Some places we have no fans in the stands. Some places we have up to 15,000 people, I guess. How does this feel for you watching your team that is going to more than likely make it into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can say more than likely, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I say that.
They,
I curse you.
74%.
Yeah.
This is 538. Known prognosticators of exactly what happens in the future.
Can we get Steve Kornacki on the big board?
Kornacki's been on fire with the big boards.
Yeah, Kornacki's been doing this too, right?
He's on Sunday Night Football.
So you've got the Vikings at 21% right now, and then the Washington football team at 74%.
As they say,
the Vikings would have jumped in the 60s if they had beaten Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Vikings need help at this point. I'm assuming Washington controls their destiny.
Yeah. And
but this is
have,
Washington we're talking about, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Vikings need to win their last 3 games and then have Arizona lose one, I believe is how the formula
Vikings
works.
will never win their last 3 games, so it's done. It's done. So
I mean, it's Bears, Lions, and
Saints.
Who else? And Saints. That Saints is the one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can lose all 3 of them,
Saints
honestly.
just lost to the Eagles. Who knows? It's a weird season.
It is weird. But so, Adam, how has it felt? I mean, do you still watch football every Sunday? Is it something?
Not. I mean, it's hard with Will. It's not like I have 3 hours that I'm going to be like, hey, Mandy, you go do everything right now.
Kids ruin everything.
Well,
until they get to my kids' age, and then you never see them. So
yeah, I mean,
Crush, you'll get there. You'll get there, bro.
I know. But there's a lot of thought that goes into, man, this is much harder with a kid. This quarantine, I don't think quarantine's easy on anyone, but it's it's like the end of the day is 7:30, and then it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go to bed and get up in the morning and do the same
thing.
So no, I
kid's gonna be up with the sun, and I have to go to.
Yeah, but I turn it on. I've fully missed 3 or 4 games. The Pittsburgh game was the weird delayed game, so it was like on at 3:00 on a Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was strange.
So I forgot that was even happening. So I'm not like invested. I feel like just like with baseball, I feel like with all 3 other sports, the season isn't real. I mean, at least football has a full season, so it's different. But it's still like, there are players that just opted out. Like, so it's like, it doesn't feel like it should have an asterisk. Every league should have an asterisk this year.
It's going to be weird when we watch a Super Bowl with like 2,000 people in the stands or whatever they're going to cap it at. I'm sure they'll probably have a way of cramming more people in there. Like you'll have to quarantine or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a capacity crowd, I would imagine.
Right.
Which is weird for Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean,
usually they're adding more seats to a stadium.
I mean, it's all about pomp and circumstance in that game. And it will be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be very frank with both of you. I am shocked that they've been able to play the season pretty much uninterrupted. I mean, as Adam mentioned, there's been some games. I mean, but essentially every team has gotten their games in, right?
Yeah. There was touch and go there for, was it the Ravens and Steelers game?
That was the big one.
Is this going to happen
Wednesday,
or not? Yeah. There's been a couple times where it felt like things were going to spiral out of control. Like there were too many breakouts for the league to contain, but somehow they got it under control.
I mean, still 3 games and then playoffs to go, so we'll see. But they've done far more than I thought that they would accomplish. Mm-hmm. So
I thought they would be shut down by now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the NBA is your gold standard for what they did,
right?
And it was pretty amazing, to be honest with you. So good for them. But the NBA
way easier to manage that.
Yeah, NBA and NFL is a totally different beast, both of them. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, you can't. The NFL teams are just too big.
Yeah,
with all the players and all the staff and everything, it's just you can't quarantine all those people. It's impossible.
No. Well, and there's no facility like the Disney one in Florida. Like there's a place with 16 football stadiums. How
fortuitous that even exists.
Yep.
Yeah.
That they could have that and they had multiple facilities. I don't know. I watched some of the vlogs from the bubble. I thought it was fascinating how they just turned a hotel into functional NBA facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still say if the NFL wanted to do quarantines for their players, bubbles for their players in their respective cities, they could do that if they wanted to.
Yeah. I mean,
they don't have the will to do it. It's hard. It is a lot more people, but the fact that they never even really made an effort to do that is weird. And now there's sort of talk that maybe they might do some like
for the playoffs,
optional playoffs bubbles if they choose. So
I don't think every team can afford to have a Tom Cruise on staff who's just going to yell at people when they break protocols.
Yeah.
There you go.
By the way, I agree.
Folks.
I agree with them. By the way.
Well, yeah,
I'm with them on that. If you're going to have a superstar go off on something, that's a reasonable thing to go off on.
It's like the only way that
is it
we
more
get
or less reasonable than this.
Oh, good for you. That was the original COVID rant right there.
There you go. Yeah,
he saw it coming.
Thank you, Jared.
You're very welcome. Well, fantastic. Listen, I'm looking at our recording time so far.
Oh, yeah, we're rolling here.
We're pushing like 40 minutes or something like that, are we not?
Something like that, yeah.
Oof. So that's just our opening,
35
guys.
minutes.
This is going to be a long show, but it's been a long time since we recorded. People are wondering what's happening in the middle of the show, and I'm going to tell them we're going to focus on the silver linings of COVID.
Yeah,
The
Middle
bright
East.
spots. The bright spots in pandemic times. Like, there's got to be something good out there. So instead of us bitching about everything for 3 hours, let's take 5 minutes and talk about something good, shall we?
5 minutes?
That's
I
it.
think we can do better than that.
8 minutes tops.
All right.
So let's take a quick break and we'll be back with more of episode 301 of The Scope. It's amazing. We're back right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been 6 months. I'm sorry. But we're back. And we'll be back maybe on a regular basis, a semi-regular. We'll be back when we're back in 2021. All right. But if you want to support us, consider supporting us at patreon.com/The Scope Show. You can pledge as little as $1 per episode. You can set a monthly cap. You can cancel anytime. I don't know if people have been canceling because I haven't logged in 6 months. Hopefully you stuck around.
Do we have an account?
Yeah, I think we do still. Patreon.com/The Scope Show for more information. I think this is where I just pot the music down and I go to the next thing. Yeah, let's do that. I forgot I had an extra long one in there. Good.
Hey, everybody. We are back with The Scope, episode 301. Jared, I wish that maybe you could have played the theme to Silver Linings Playbook because that would be perfect segue.
Is there a theme for that?
Oh, I think that's it's very hummable. Everybody knows it.
All right, well, let me get Spotify at friends.
No,
if I can
I'm
find
just-
it. You keep talking.
I'm
Silver Linings
joshing you, as
Playbook.
they say.
I don't even know who did the score for that.
Do they even have a score? I don't know. Today we're taking a look at the good stuff that's come out of the pandemic. And, you know, I think it's fair to say that there have been some good things, whether intentional or just by nature of looking at the world differently. You know, we can find some positivity in pandemic times. So
Differently as in like the contents of the walls of your room.
right. Exactly.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to read my prepared statement,
Ooh.
and then let's see if that was better than my random
As a
intro.
prepared statement.
And I will
Go ahead.
commence now, and I'll try to read it naturally. You know, while it's awfully easy to be pulled into the morass of negativity permeating every square inch of American culture, we here at The Scope wanted to take some time this holiday season to look towards the positive and discuss anything that's good, happy, or just not bad to come out of the current COVID era. How was that?
Yeah.
Legitimate, right?
I like how you've already got a COVID era.
We are, yeah.
Oh, is this how historians will look back at this period of time in the COVID era?
Yeah, I think they will.
Mankind learned a new way to live.
Yeah. I don't know. So I've asked Jared and Adam, and as well as myself, to.
You asked it of yourself.
I asked myself.
Good job.
Brave.
I asked myself first, and then I asked you guys later. Come up with a list of stuff that lights your fire. A list of things that have made you happy or content in the past year. I mean, we're almost at a year at this point, which is insanity, or
I know.
9 months. I've got a list of a few things. I know you guys do too. So,
Quality sleep isn't on that list.
Adam,
Go ahead.
I'm going to start with you.
Please do.
Give me something that that's lighting your fire, that you're grooving to.
I have a lot.
Okay.
The first one.
Hit me with some.
First one is that so I feel like in Minnesota, one of the hardest things in any winter is when it starts snowing early, because it's going to keep snowing until April. And I'm not a fan of snow.
Give it applause, Jared.
Hold on.
How about an amen?
I don't have an amen. I'm sorry. I have this though.
So, we've all experienced the November through April the winter, literally 6 months. And I feel like if that had been the case this year, I would have had a real hard time.
Yeah.
But it is December 16th as we're recording this. We have zero snow cover right now. We had one storm.
We had two storms. We had
a couple.
Sure.
We had like 10 inches total. But
So, Adam, I have to ask you. I'm going to jump in on your talk.
Hold on, real quick. Last year, 6.7 inches of snowpack right now.
Oh,
So that means just standing on your lawn, there was half a foot of snow. It wasn't going anywhere because it was going to be cold to see my brown lawn. It's just makes me feel like way more accepting
like
of, okay, now we're going to have 4 months of this instead of having 6.
Like you're exhaling and you're feeling good about it. So let me ask you.
I have an interesting counterpoint to this, but go ahead. I'm going to hear Shane's first.
So I'm just going to ask Adam. We got our first big storm, which was about 6 to 8 inches, depending where you lived.
Yeah.
It was like October 30th.
Yeah,
I heard 4 inches was fine, but go ahead.
I'm going to say. So I mean, when you got that, did you feel like me? Like, I mean, I said to myself, this is going to be a situation where, to get to the end of the vaccination, we're going to have to go through the ultimate weather hell, and I just don't know if I can do this.
On top of everything.
On top of everything
murder
else.
Hornets.
And then it melted. But then we got another storm. We got another storm after that, which was 4 or 5 inches. But then that all went away, and I think that was early November. And for a long time, we hadn't had any snow, but we were still well above average for our yearly snowfall for that period. Right. But now it's like, it's all good, right? It's gravy.
Yeah. And I mean, I know there's a La Nina, so I know that we're probably going to have a polar vortex. Like I get all of that, but like the last polar vortex year, we had record snow the week before Thanksgiving, and that just stuck around. Like that it was just there forever. So for me, it really helps that that is not the case.
I love that. I love that take. It's a good take. Jared.
I am strangely unaffected by winter right now.
Look at him.
I'm not going to go anywhere anyway. Right. Why do I care? I could have 2 feet of snow on the ground. It wouldn't bother me at all.
Right. Like I completely.
I'd have to go through the day and a half of clearing it out. Sure, that's a pain in the butt. But I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
Like I don't have appointments to keep. I don't have like holiday things I have to do. I don't have shopping to do. Nothing.
For me, like personally, it is because right now I have weekends with a 2-year-old. And like to be able to listen, like it was 36 degrees or something on Saturday, still really cold, but we still were like, all right, we're going to go for a walk. Yep. We went to the park because there's never anyone there. It was only 15 minutes that he wanted to do anything, but it was still like, cool. We did it. Yep. We went outside. I get it.
You have a completely different set of circumstances. Yeah. I acknowledge that.
He'd pick up frozen sandballs and throw them at people.
For me, it's weird how like the anxiety of winter is mostly not there this year.
I mean, you guys know that I'm the biggest weather alarmist on the planet.
Yeah, you've been quiet.
And last year, it was literally a goal of mine to not complain about the weather, which I did. I mean, I kept it to a minimum. And this year, it's the same deal. Like, I need to be less hysterical about that. But I'm so with Adam. Like, there's a mental component just to know that, it's 5 months instead of 6 months, or and we do have a lot of listeners that don't live in climates like this, so it's hard to explain. Like, I can go for a walk in November and December, and it can be somewhat comfortable when you don't have snow. Like, it's easier to do that, and I walk every day pretty much, and Jared does too. So to be able to have that sort of luxury and not worry about it, I'm with it. Like, if we didn't get snow till the end of January, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need snow at all at this point. Let's just get by it and be happy.
Who needs a white
it.
Christmas? Not me.
I don't need it. Hey,
Nope.
I was talking about this with my family. We have had Christmases where there was no snow on the ground. So, and that's in the.
And we've had Christmases where it was a snowstorm on Christmas Eve, and those sucked.
Yep, exactly. So again, like you said, Jared, we don't really have a lot of places to go, but the mental component of not having to worry about it and to be able to look out and it allows you to have a little bit more of a normal life longer. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we could be getting hammered with 2 feet of snow like they are out east right now, and thankfully that's not happening.
They're getting blasted. So
sorry, easterly listeners.
Sorry. Jared, your turn. You're up.
Let's see. I've got a list here. Like, I don't have any rock solid, like, this is an amazing thing that happened in the pandemic that would only have happened in the pandemic. But a lot of my stuff is mostly on the, like, there's an opportunity here, so let's take it.
Okay.
And that one of those is we, in April and May, did a lot of house cleaning. Like, we cleaned out a lot of stuff. We threw out a lot of trash, took a lot of stuff donated a ton of stuff, got stuff out into the garage, which unfortunately I still have to get my garage emptied, but that's one piece of the puzzle I haven't finished yet. And I will acknowledge there's been a little bit of a backslide recently, but we can get back to it, I think, successfully soon. But it felt good to like get a lot of junk out. Sort of our second bedroom, which was an office space, was real cluttered, and it's a small room and it's a tight room, and there's still work to be done. And I have that on my docket for my big end of the year vacation to finally paint that room and get it set up the way it's supposed to be. And I will be so excited when that is done. It's a lot of work to go yet, but so much work has already happened to facilitate that. And I'm really happy that we put in the effort and did that. Cleaned out. I mean, you've been in the basement when we record the show. Mm-hmm. There's a lot less stuff down here than there used to be. Like, it's allowed us to have what I call the studio, where we can do stuff. I have a Zoom station set up with the old TV. So Angela's doing dance classes with a big TV and a camera. It's like, that's the big thing that's gotten us through it, is having this functional space down here to actually do stuff separate from each other when necessary. So yeah, that's a bright spot, I would say.
Sounds like you're getting your house ready for some big post-COVID parties like the old days. Except we'll start about 4 p.m. and then we'll shut her down about 11.
I don't know about that, but
okay, we'll start at 7 and we'll go till 3 a.m. just like we used to.
Perfect.
And
exactly right.
A big crock pot of meatballs. And then drink mixers.
I'm not against it.
I know you're not.
We've thrown out a lot of drink mixers.
Yeah.
That was part of the clean out, was getting rid of most of the liquor cabinet that was sort of sitting around. We cleaned out the one built-in cabinet that I have in the house, that a lot of old Richfield houses have. They always have like one little built-in cabinet, like tucked in above where the stairs go down. That had like just old glassware and candles and junk like that. Oh, it's all gone. Threw it all out. Now we actually have a liquor cabinet, a cabinet with liquor, a liquor cabinet. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about streaming services doing whatever it takes to get viewers.
Yeah.
That's something that I appreciate. Adam sort of teased that, but
So we're talking personal stuff. You're going a little more commercial.
I think we're covering everything. I've got personal stuff too, but I do think that that's something worth mentioning in the sense that, we have been locked into our lives at home and growing up, living in the golden age of television right now. There's so much stuff that you can watch that's interesting and positive and just high quality. And you look at what HBO Max is doing with bringing all their movies, even though a lot of people aren't happy with that. And then you look at Disney Plus's announcement of all of the Star Wars and all of the Marvel and all of that stuff. It does give you something to look forward to,
Mm-hmm. It's playing the washboard here. What the hell?
Look at that. Jared, COVID is killing your forehead.
Yeah.
So I am excited about that. I'm excited the fact that we have things like the Queen's Gambit to be able to watch. Great British Baking Show has been fun.
The Crown. You got to watch The Crown. I'm telling you.
Crown's on my list.
Get to it.
So yeah.
I'll dovetail into that. Yeah. Burning through my TV backlog has been great.
Yeah.
Like, what else you can do? It's great. I had so many shows backed up on my TiVo that I've just gone through, burned those through. So many streaming shows that I meant to watched them all. And yeah, it's been great. And there's just a lot of great stuff to watch. And I'm happy to have the time to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We watched Breaking Bad and
that's right.
We watched Better Call Saul up to the most recent season, which we can't watch yet, but it's amazing television. And it was something that we probably never would have done. And it was just good to be able to have something like that to think about and focus on, like, oh, okay, we know what we're going to do after work. It's low stress, it's low pressure, and let's just do it. And, it doesn't hurt that it's acted supremely and it's got good stories and it's just good television. So,
Adam, what independent obscure shows are you watching?
How to with John Wilson.
I've only watched the first episode. That's one I immediately like. okay, I can't half watch this. I have to watch this.
Oh yeah,
because every single line has some sort of visual that underscores it in some fashion. You have to pay attention to that show.
Yeah, the making of or what have you of that show is very intriguing to me. And it pays off so
Shane, have you heard of this? Have you heard of the show?
How to
with John Wilson?
Have you, Shane?
No, I have not.
Okay, this is
really?
HBO.
It's on HBO Max.
Okay.
It is produced by Nathan Fielder. It's not really like Nathan for you if you ever watch that. But yeah, you can watch the first. That's 30 minutes. You watch the first episode, you get the idea of it. Honestly, just watching people, any show that involves people being together, just like very intrigued,
especially that first episode.
Yeah.
That first episode, you feel like, oh, this is fun. This is funny. He's poking fun and things. Yeah, this is great. And then by the end of it, you're like, God, I'm feeling a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like something's going on here. Like you actually found like an emotional core to this story. I'm like, damn, that's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Good.
Hope that guy's doing all right. He seemed a little down.
All right, Adam.
Adam knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, but it's on my list.
Put it on your list.
Adam, we'll go back to anything else you want to discuss for positivity.
I have a lot.
Okay. Why don't you list a few? And
I know of a lot of stores and restaurants that I'll never go to now because they are not taking the mask stuff seriously. So that's good to know.
Right.
Yeah. Can you name them? Can we help them here?
I texted some of my friends about one of them today because they're the Alibi Drinkery in Lakeville.
Big story in the Strip about that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are driving in from hours away to support them.
Yeah. All of those people like to use the word tyranny and not really understand what it means, by the way.
No.
It means I'm being inconvenient.
You can drink at home, guys. You can drink in the parking lot of any place if you want to.
Liquor stores still open, folks.
Yeah. Like you talk about TV, like Ted Lasso. To me,
totally forgot about that.
It was just.
I was on that train from the jump.
Yeah,
I had to convince Shane to watch it.
I got him there. I'm sure this has all already been said before, but like the lack of cynicism, the lack of there are maybe two key times that series it makes you think it's going to, do something to feel more dramatic or what have you, and it doesn't, and it just stays genuine and kind, and it was just a joy to watch it. And like also just seeing Jason Sudeikis again, like I always liked him so much, and like knowing the weird history of that character, just everything. That
was like a series of ESPN shorts or something like that.
NBC Sports.
NBC Sports, that's what it was.
It was just, it's just ridiculous. And then I'll just also say the Saved by the Bell remake, which isn't good necessarily, but it like makes fun of the original just nonstop. It is like a satire of those types of shows while also being kind of like a good one of those shows. And I don't know, it's a Peacock show, so it's like just watch it. Like there's it's
that's a service I haven't spent much time with is Peacock.
It's like they've got that, and are they the one that have the Fresh Prince reunion?
No, I think is that HBO Max.
Okay, right.
I think it's HBO Max.
Peacock has The Office.
Okay.
I've watched like 2 episodes of season 3 of AP Bio, and that's it. On Peacock.
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell
is a good show.
I think Jared and I were, at least I was, like just slightly out of the age range for Saved by the Bell.
I'm older than you, so somehow I was in the. Come on,
I mean, you had less mature tastes, but
that's
like I may have watched an episode or 2 of it. I'm fully aware of everything that goes on in it, but it wasn't something that defined my childhood. So you're a little bit younger, Adam. I think that maybe you probably watched more.
It was on Saturday mornings when I was, 9 or 10, maybe 11.
Shane and I were already making a living wage. You were watching Saved by the Bell.
I mean, they make fun of the I'm so excited, I'm so scared, Jesse Spano thing within the first 10 minutes.
Sure.
And it's like, that's not an Easter egg by any means, but it's, it tells you kind of like who the show is actually for, despite it being like, a teen drama or comedy. So,
and show's over.
Yeah, I guess so. Those have been my I don't. It's like we've
you guys remember Tiger King?
Tiger King. I was gonna say, like, we didn't talk about Tiger Borat King? 2, but it's like
Borat 2 kind of came and went. Yeah. It was here and then it was gone within like 4 days.
Well, it was a weird choice to put it on right before the election. Like, but
at the same time, you had to do it before the election because it wouldn't like
the Rudy thing. Yeah. One thing I'll just say, I had I don't know what you would call it, but an epiphany.
A celebrity encounter?
Oh no, God no. I started reading a lot about betting on the election through various websites, and there's one that is based out of New Zealand, which actually has like a deal with the U.S. government somehow. So it's called Predict It, and they have betting markets for basically everything related to politics. And going into the election, based on the polls, I was feeling pretty good about making some bets. And coming out of it, I was a little bit more worried, but I'm not like a gambling type person. But it had the bonus of taking money from MAGA people,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
sure.
They don't need it.
And so that kind of sold me on it. So I wound up putting $400 in. And then I actually just cashed out yesterday because it took until yesterday for them to settle a bunch of the markets due to the lawsuits and stuff. And I came out with 567 out.
Way to go. So
it's a 42% return in about 7 weeks, which felt pretty good for my first time ever doing it.
Is that the one that still had like, even then like weeks after the election, it still had Trump at like 9% chance to win or something?
Well, so it's not. Yes, it's at 9 cents to win because people were. That's what they kept doing. So it's like it's still a stock market type thing. So you can still sell at any point in time. So like if let's say I bought Biden at 82 cents to win Arizona, like. After Fox News called it, like, it spiked up to 97 cents. So I could have gotten out of it. Every share is $1 once it's fully, the market is settled. But then a lawsuit happens, and so then the price of Biden goes down / the price of Trump goes up. Because people think, Trump's going to actually win. The lawsuit's going to overturn. So it wasn't just simply like, okay, buy and then wait. It was like buy and then it's like, the price just went back down to something. And it's like the lawsuits had no chance. They were ridiculous lawsuits. Yeah. So it's like you kept on getting, effectively nearly guaranteed money, especially after the election had already happened. Like I put most of my money in, before based on the polls. So in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that because the polls were, off by a decent amount. I was lucky, but it was still closer than I needed to be. But this election in particular, it was like there were these, chuds that kept throwing money at Trump winning these states based on the Kraken lawsuits and ridiculous stuff like that. And so like even like a week ago, I think it was Georgia, a week ago was still at 90 cents for Biden. So I'm just going to say guaranteed a 10% return on investment. Like they just settled it, like I said yesterday. So it's like you wait 5 days and you get 10%,
it's like free money.
Yeah. Cash in.
But I said $400 is all I'm, comfortable with. So I capped myself at that, and I was happy to, basically make $170 on it.
Nice. That's X-Wing money.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. Well, and look how you won it. It wasn't like you were voting on or putting money on Trump.
Right.
You
I mean,
won it
yes.
for a good cause.
Well, and it took money away from
exactly.
ostensibly bad people.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Adam, you're always full of creative, interesting things. You know that?
Thanks. You just gotta go to the good places on the internet that are also the bad places on the internet,
Right.
I guess.
Do I go to the dark web?
Jared, do you want to run through anything else on your list?
I mean, the big thing is I got a new job.
Yeah.
I left the job I was at on my own terms and got a new job, and which was weird. It's weird, like starting a job and it being entirely remote. I mean, other than I have been on site, like the first day I had to be on site pretty much, I don't know, 75% of the day for paperwork and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But
So you
wear a
did
mask,
this during the pandemic. You chose.
Yes.
Was that scary? Like,
What do you mean?
like changing jobs and like. So,
That wasn't scary.
I mean, you went from a place where you had some level of, I don't know, seniority. So I guess that job was also relatively new.
So I went from a place that was, in my opinion, cratering around me. Somehow they're still functioning. But
They're
like
are they still around, Jared?
They're still around. But like a lot of people on my team had been laid off in the months prior to.
Gotcha.
And I had when I lost another supervisor above me, that's when it was like, oh, okay, I need to find my way out of here on my own terms, because who knows when this could end. This could end anytime. Plus, I was one of the holdouts who was still working at home. They officially did not have a people who can work at home will work at home policy. I just decided that was my policy. And they started trying to force people back, and I refused. So I knew there was a target on me. But I also knew that I was too important to their day-to-day business and that they probably weren't going to just outright fire me. So, I played that leverage into basically, I had recruiters reaching out, and then one offer worked out, and I got it.
Awesome.
Jared, I heard a rumor that your former company actually had a lunch outing at a bar in Lakeville this week. Is that true?
It would not surprise me if some of the people in the C-suite decided they were going to do that, because they're terrible people who don't take things seriously.
Great.
And work with terrible people and have probably questionable business practices, but you didn't hear it from me.
I heard it from that glass full of water.
No, I've recently learned in the last couple of weeks that one of the poor people who was still there behind me and I had turned a lot of my day-to-day work stuff over to was also let go. So, I don't know.
Whoa.
It's just a matter of time before.
Yeah. Eventually it's going to get you.
Anyone worth being there is gone, either by their own choice or are forced out. So I'm happy to be with that gone from that company, and I'm happy to be with the company I'm with now, even though it means that I am definitely learning a lot on this job. It's not a comfortable position from a, like, you sort of go, it's the analogy, like, you're the star of your high school football team, and all of a sudden you go to, or your college football team, and you go to the NFL, and where it's made up nothing but stars of their teams. And you suddenly realize, like, oh, okay, I've got a lot to learn. I've got areas of my game that need improvement. So that's kind of the situation I'm in now. But I took it knowing that was going to be the case. I took it knowing that this was a job where I'm going to hopefully fill in a lot of those gaps that I have in my developer career, so that, if in the future I am more marketable to other jobs, if I decide to leave, there was big gaps in my knowledge base that I knew I was going to have to fill if I was going to continue to progress in this field. So this is that opportunity to do so. So I'm glad I made the jump, even though it's a little scary.
Can I rewind to a quick question about something?
Yeah.
So you were a college football star?
Yeah. I mean, star is probably not the right word. Third string nose tackle, but
wow.
Everyone wears the same jersey.
Everybody wears the same jersey. It says Ted Lasso. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. Taking entirely remote interviews and getting a job completely remotely, and not even meeting any. I've still only met one person on my team in person. That's my direct supervisor, who I met, on my first day in the office. Everyone else I've only seen on the screen.
When do you guys suspect you'll be back in your office?
Well, we're definitely out through February. They've been pretty regular with like every month kind of pushing it out another month or two, but they haven't done anything for a little bit while. So I suspect they're sort of waiting to see, like they did a big jump instead of they were kind of going month by month. And they just said through February for sure. So they did a big jump back in October. And I'm sure they're going to see how vaccinations and stuff like go before they make the decision, but they definitely don't want to jeopardize any of their on-site operations. Those are too important to the business. So I don't think they're going to rush people back.
Adam,
until it's absolutely safe.
What about you?
What about me?
When do you think you'll go back in the office?
So we're in a weirdish situation where our we own our own building, but the building's been effectively closed all year, and our CEO makes our financials pretty transparent, and so we had our best year ever this year, which is
same,
which is interesting considering the year that it was.
Right.
So
I will just say for my company, it helps to be in the air quality space.
No, sure. There you go.
Yeah,
it helps.
I can imagine.
A lot of demand.
My company did pretty well too. So it's weird that we're all sort of in these spaces. We're all getting lucky that way.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder if we are going to keep having a building because a lot of our profit margin is due to not having the building maintenance stuff. And I know it's like,
so you still have the building costs, but just since you're not doing day-to-day operations, those costs are way down.
Yeah, no food and no anything like that.
Because we have we have free lunch at my building, but then it's also the security, custodial, stuff like that. But it's a status thing, I think, for our CEO. So I don't think that it'll actually go away. I mean, right now we have April as our next check-in date, for if we'll go back in. But I mean, at this point, it's like, how is that possible? Most of the employees are not people that are going to get the vaccine, until whatever the third, fourth tier. Yep. So
right.
It's not going
to be determined, but it's not going to be January.
Yeah.
I think right now for my business, it's still sort of officially the end of January, but I mean, they've already pretty much said that that's not going to happen. And my guess is at least for our office, which is essentially a satellite office of a dozen people or so, that I mean, I personally won't go back in until I'm vaccinated. That's pretty much where I'm on it. And I think that they've actually given flexibility, like, hey, when people do start going back, we can do it in waves. And if you're not comfortable going back, eventually you're going to have to, but there's sort of time leading up to that. But us being,
it seems like they could just, since you're just a satellite office, they could just not even bother paying for that space anymore and just have people work remotely.
That's possible that could happen. But we'll see. I mean, I do like the collaboration of being able to work with my team in the same space and other people. Like I do.
It is useful.
I do miss that. I mean, working from home is so much easier in so many ways. I mean, you're saving an hour drive at least all the time. You can get up a little bit later. So there's a lot of time benefits and flexibility, but at the same time, it is nice to be in a different environment, working through problems and having meetings and stuff like that. But the world will be different in 6 months when everybody starts going back to work. A lot of different companies are going to have to, or are not going to have to. They're just going to change. Like Adam's company may do something like that, and there will be many people in my company that might officially work from home half times, or they'll change the workspace so not everybody has a desk all the time. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm personally not looking forward to it. going back to an office. Like, I never thought I would be a work from home type person. Thought I would get too distracted, but honestly,
you figured it out.
Kind of gotten used to it. I've kind of figured it out for the most part, and I'm not looking forward to. This is the downside of having my new job. My new job is in Shoreview.
Yeah,
which is a longer commute for me. On the days I've had to go in, like since traffic isn't too bad these days because everyone's working from home, it's 28 minutes to get there and back. It hasn't been too bad, but who knows what it'll be like when everyone's back running. So I'm really hoping that they're flexible in like maybe 2 days a week I can work from home. I don't know how that's going to work out, but
just have to wait and see.
We have people who are entirely remote in Wisconsin, so it's not like there aren't people who are remote all the time. So I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. Well, one last thing to wrap this up. If you guys wanted something personal from me, so I'll give it to you. I think that the bright spot for me, pandemic wise, from that perspective, has absolutely been the time that I've been able to spend with my friends, especially any sort of in-person things, whether you're outside at a campfire or watching a Vikings game on a screen, Jared, which we did that at the beginning of the season.
We did.
That it's weird how it's so easy to take that stuff for granted, because you could just do it. And then all of a sudden getting just little nuggets of that interaction, which as Adam was sort of talking about, in the winter weather, it's going to be even harder to do here. Mm-hmm. So having that, from April to essentially now has been a blessing in a weird way. And I appreciate that. And the other thing is that, I've been, this last 6 months has not been easy for me. Something I haven't talked about, like my mom had a lot of health problems. Jared knows about that. And that stuff sort of hitting all at this time. And it literally was like a domino effect.
You had like a month or two run there pre-election where it was just like everything was hitting at once.
And it's still there. It hasn't, it's sort of mellowed a little bit, but she would just have issues, health issues, and me not having a relationship with her, and then sort of trying to figure all this stuff out is really difficult. And then it culminated to a point where on election day, Adam, I had the day off, and I ended up having like a vertigo attack on election day where I had to go to urgent care, and I was like throwing up from dizziness and nausea, and the world was spinning, and I'm still sort of dealing with that. But
oh, you are. I was going to ask if have that, because you haven't been talking about it, so I thought it maybe cleared up.
It's gotten better, but it's been a slow progression. But it's clearly stress related. There's no doubt about it. But having people that I can talk to, and a friend of mine, and Jared's one of our curling pals, gave me a ride to urgent care. He's like, I'm in the neighborhood. I literally just got my COVID test back. I'm positive or negative. I'm positive, so you're going to get it.
But I'm fine.
And he brought me there, and it's just nice to have people like that in your life, especially when the world is hard, that you can depend on. And I think, as I've gotten older, I've always tried to be more aware than I was when I was younger, but in a world like this where everything is so uncertain and so unfun, to have that is fantastic. And just things like, friends of the show, like John Norton, he and I talk all the time. He'll check in on me to see how things are going, or Jared and I will talk to Dan Taylor, Viking super fan from across the pond. It's things like that that you could easily overlook in normal times, and I really appreciate and cherish those now. And I hope that once we're done with this pandemic, and God, I hope we don't have another one anytime soon. But, if we get to a normal place in life, that I can bring what I've learned from this into that. I hope we all can. I think that's a lesson that we could all learn.
Nope.
So there you go.
Well said.
Thank you very much. So guys, let's wrap that up.
Hey guys.
I put my pants on one leg at a time, but I'm wearing gold-plated underwear. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with Under the Scope, I think, is next on the show. I think that's normally how it happens. So
I think so.
Let's take a break, and we'll be back with that right after this.
Look out for the laser! It's the Scope. Under the Scope.
Hey, it's Under the Scope, just like I said it was. And I think what's coming is coming soon.
See if I remember this bit.
No. We think Adam's got the mood music.
What? We're ready? Sorry,
We
I couldn't hear it.
Only Jared can hear it. So
yeah, that's fine.
I heard it kind of.
You just do your thing.
All right. So there's not much, guys. But let's start with music because there's one big one.
all right, what's that?
Paul McCartney has a new album coming out.
Oh, that's
boy.
right.
Is it nothing but his #1 world famous Christmas song?
I hope not. I hate that song.
I have no idea what's on it. It's just called McCartney 3.
Having a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That was my most hated Christmas song working at Toys R Us, Adam, when I was younger.
You know, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really don't like Christmas songs. And it's not anything to do with me being Jewish. It's just that
I think it has everything to do with you
I
being
don't
Jewish.
like that. It's like you hear them 1,000 times in a 1 month period. And also half of them are crooner, Rat Packy type guys. And I just...
What's great is if you're not going shopping at stores, you don't hear them.
Oh, yeah. Well, instead, you get your wife to play them. But now it's Elmo sings Christmas songs. So it's so much better.
You're
so much
You're
better.
probably living in a music hell in a lot of ways, right? You're playing a lot of like kid music.
Oh, yeah. And you guys don't know what Blippi is, but I would I would recommend that you go on YouTube and you search for Blippi.
Is it anything like Gritty?
We didn't talk about Gritty being a bright side in the pandemic.
Yeah, right. Gritty's woke. He is not like Gritty, but he also is. Anyway, yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, check him out. All right. Okay, so that was
What else?
that. Video games. Not much, but we have Among Us coming out for Switch for anyone that's looking for another platform to play Among Us on.
I believe that's out now, isn't it?
Yes.
I've
You
never
can't play
played
on
that
the Mac,
game.
though. You still can't play on the Mac.
Yeah, you got to get an iPhone, I guess.
Adam, do you own this game?
I don't, but that's the next one I was going to talk about.
Go ahead.
Oh, does that say Xbox One? Oh, sorry, Shane.
It does. Well, I've got this new controller for a new Xbox.
Well, yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077, I was just going to mention maybe by the end of the year it will work good.
I started playing it today, literally before this, and so far, so good.
Does your character have his dick hanging out? Because I heard that was a bug.
You do have to select your genital situation when you're creating your character.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Can you have multiple?
Jared's referring to
yes, there are
it is-
multiple. There are multiple choices.
Jared.
No, I mean, can you have like multiple dinglings? if you
No,
want?
but there are different shapes.
I thought this was Cyberpunk. Come on.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But Jared's talking
I'm
about.
talking about Mario Kart. I'm sorry.
There's a
Oh,
there's a
definitely has
well-established
multiple dinglings.
bug, Shane. So maybe don't play it with. Well, you don't have any small children anymore, but
No.
that you know of.
exactly.
Yeah, trust me,
let's
Jared, I
see.
don't.
TV. Vikings is back on Amazon Prime now. If you watch,
Wait, what?
If you watch Vikings, season 6 will be on Amazon Prime.
It's not on sci-fi history anymore?
No.
They just have like half of the season to finish.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah. All right.
It's a
just
weird
going-
world.
That is so strange to me. Wait,
Yeah.
this is breaking news to me.
Oh, yeah.
Shane, this is breaking news to me because I've been waiting for the back half of the final season
What?
to air on history, and now Adam's telling me it's just going to drop on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It's going to be a weekly release though. So starting on.
They all are, aren't they now? Like the Expanse just dropped,
yeah.
and they dropped the first 3, and then it's going to be weekly after that, just like the boys,
Yeah.
because Amazon's got to be special.
I've never seen The Boys.
Oh,
You should watch
The
The
Boys. Yeah. It's
I
good.
would like to.
The Boys season 2. That was another big show. This.
Okay, so movies.
What else
We'll
is coming
finish it up with movies.
There's movies.
So streaming,
We have
right?
movies?
Yeah. We've got
We got big stuff coming.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That comes out this Friday on Netflix.
Okay.
It's got like a 99 on Metacritic and Rotten
Ooh, that's
Tomatoes.
exciting.
We've got Wonder Woman 1984
Mm-hmm.
coming out on Christmas Day.
Shane, when are you watching that?
I'm going to watch it Christmas.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I told my family
It's a
we're
long one, I
watching it
hear.
on Christmas.
Wow.
And they said,
I'm gonna have to like.
did
I'm gonna have to
anybody in
watch
your
it
life
in-
say, that doesn't sound very Christmas-like?
I don't. that's a reason to watch it.
Exactly.
Maybe it is a Christmas movie, like, Die Hard and stuff. People will debate this. It's great.
What else?
Pixar's
You can only hope we have more of those debates.
Soul
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's
Disney
a Pete
Plus,
Docter film, I believe.
Yeah, quietly Disney Plus, maybe the best value in any of these niche streaming services.
Not as much of a value now. It's going up to $7.99 next month.
Unless you pre-ordered it for 3 years, like some people.
That 3-year deal, boy.
It's going to be $15 at some point.
Yeah.
Just get ready for it.
But that'll
folks.
be Hulu. It'll be Hulu in there, right?
Yeah.
It'll all work out.
One more movie to talk about.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Not streaming, Monster Hunter.
Oh, I've been seeing commercials for this.
Monster
like crazy.
Hunter, the Paul W.S. Anderson, Mila Jovovich special. It's a video game movie.
Right.
Comes out on Friday. In theaters only.
It's already out.
In theaters.
How are you going to see that?
You're going to go to a theater if you live in
not
here,
Tennessee. Not in Minnesota.
Drive
you're not.
to Tennessee, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you probably could see it in any neighboring state.
Guys, what are we going to do when this is all done and there's no more movie theaters? That's going to suck. Did you see AMC says they have enough cash to get through middle of January?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what's going to happen because.
Do you think that they're not going to honor my AMC rewards anymore?
Your stubs.
Yeah, I've got $5. I've got $5 for concessions that I'm definitely going to get somewhere, one way or another. Going to get it.
I do think that those commodity movie theaters are doomed.
Yeah.
I think that some of the specialty experience ones, like your Alamo's Draft House chain and stuff like that, will figure out a way to continue.
Yeah.
But what about
those just commodified ones?
Jared,
are
what
done.
about like the Marvel movies that they're holding up?
It's not enough to sustain. I don't know how you do it.
But where are they going to play?
This is a discussion for another time, but it's just
okay.
They've been exposed. Let's just say that. Oh, I'm getting tired of this. It's break time.
Oh, look up there. What about French movie theaters, Jared? Or pirates? What about the Pirates of the
Pirate in all my movies, don't you know?
The people listening to this podcast have.
Oh, they're not. It's fine.
That's fine.
No,
Thank you.
We're just doing it for us.
Doing it for us. Oh, look here.
Oh, look at me. I'm a guest on a fancy TV show.
Well, boy, oh boy.
Anyway.
So, is that the end of your list, Adam?
That's it.
That's it. Well, I mean, still, there's some nuggets of goodness in there. And, if we don't do a show any time soon, we've got WandaVision coming as well in mid-January as well. So enough stuff to keep us busy. The pipeline's there. The question is, will we tap into it?
Of course we will. We're already paying for the pipeline.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
All you just do is turn that spigot content.
The answer is yes.
Oh, I got some content on my face. Oh, it's gross. It's sticky. Why?
Oh my goodness. Let's wrap this up.
Under the scope.
Here we are. The end of the show, Jared.
End of the show, as usual. How do I do this, folks? This is the part of the show where we listen to your voicemails and read your comments and your email letters and your passenger pigeon scrolls that you've sent out. But unfortunately, pandemic has not allowed any of that stuff to come in.
It's killed all the pigeons.
Had to shut the doors to all vectors of infection, and that includes all digital communications with our audience. So I'm fortunate we have nothing to go on. Nothing. But if in the future those spigots are reopened when it's safe, make sure you get your stuff in now. Comments at thescopeshow.com is the email address. Voicemail 612-21-SCOPE. That is 612-217-2673. There is a Facebook page. There is a Twitter account. They're not monitored that well. Sorry. It's hard times. But those links are on our website at thescopeshow.com, which I know way back in the summer, 6 months ago when we last did our show, we probably said, hey, maybe we can get that website done.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get it done. We failed you again.
Instead, we're putting crap in our garage and
failed you in that regard. Whoa! Hold on! Breaking news! I switched away to my Chrome window to read my stuff, and then I switched back to the Zoom, and now I see Shane has taken off his sweatshirt. He's flexing.
It's hot in here. It's seriously like 10,000 degrees. I got the heat blasting.
Let's wrap it up.
The door is shut. So let's wrap it up. I got
more. I got a couple more things to say. So the Zoom call. We mentioned the Zoom call.
Look at this camera or this camera. Tell everybody what you're up to.
This one over here, this one here, this one there, whatever. This is not First We Feast channel where we talk about hot ones on First We Feast. This camera.
Tell everybody what you're up to. Go ahead.
We're recording this so you can watch our shenanigans. You can see the before and after of Shane's muscular reveal in the D block right here on the YouTube channel. That link again on the scopeshow.com website. If you'd like to support the show, as previously mentioned, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thescopeshow. You can throw some money our way. And we don't charge monthly. We don't charge hourly. We charge by the episode. And so if we don't produce an episode, we don't. Hey, waiter, hold on. Let me put it on my filter again. Hey, patreon.com/thescopeshow is where you want to go. I tell you. We only charge you $1 an episode. Not as much as you'd like to contribute.
I feel like it's Pirates meets Braveheart.
They may take our land, but they'll not take our freedom. Back to you, Captain Shane.
Oh my God, you're killing me. And Adam is like right up in the camera, so that's a little bit disconcerting. He's right there. So I want to take just a quick second to say, hey, we haven't done a show in 6 months. And I'd like to continue to do shows on a regular basis, but just putting it out there that until things start to normalize a little bit, I don't know how easy that's going to be since I'm kind of the guy that's like the main content driver on the show. I think we're gonna have to play it by ear, but I'm gonna say this without guilt or sadness. We'll do more shows, right? We'll just see how it goes.
I mean, if we can hit like a monthly show, I think that's something to shoot for.
Adam, would you be up for a monthly show?
Yeah, sure. Not doing anything else.
Really? I mean, this is like...
Look, I spent like $500 on a new digital mixer here with the intention that we were going to continue to do shows. So
right, good.
I've got a sunk cost here.
Okay. And
yeah, Adam, I didn't even tell you, Adam hasn't been part of these conversations. Yeah, that big giant mixer I had on my desk with all the inputs
gone.
And outputs and knobs. It's not gone. It's to my left, but it's not on the desk anymore. I swear I got like 60 pounds of unused cables now. Like they're just over here. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I don't need as many cables. It's like a little digital thing here.
Nice.
It's like a mixer and USB recording interface in one, and it's pretty cool.
You still rocking that Hackintosh?
Yeah, for now.
What are you worried about with the M1 chips?
My first problem I have is that I can't get it in space gray.
You can't what?
I can't get the Mac Mini in space gray. That's my big problem.
You told me that, and I did a spit take.
That's my big problem. No, I'll be curious. I'm surprised we didn't talk about apples at all.
Listen, guys, we could talk about apples. We could talk about all of the Star Wars shows coming. We literally did not talk about PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Ridiculous.
There's a million pop culture things we could have talked about. So the content is there.
Adam brought it up, so I'm gonna talk about it real briefly.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm intrigued by the M1s. I want one. I shouldn't get one because I do most of my creative work in Adobe apps and they are not updated yet. So it would be stupid of me to get one. But I've already said that my next Mac will be proper Apple hardware. I'm done with Hackintoshes. It's too much to monkey with. Mm-hmm. And I have the resources to buy a regular Mac now, so I will get one. So I'm definitely interested in a Mac Mini. Probably. I'm curious if the next gen chips, if they still gets like a good quality one, or if they're going to continue to keep it like on the M1 line, or if they're going to give if they're going to start to differentiate from the more consumer and the pro line. We'll see how it goes, but I'm intrigued. I've watched a million reviews on YouTube. They seem like really, really good machines, so I do want one.
There we go. Breaking news. Shane
might even get a new MacBook at some point.
Yeah. Hey, 2021.
Then you could be a pirate.
I want to be a pirate so bad. I want to wear a beret.
You can just update the software on your machine, can't you? Or is your machine too old?
My machine is too old. That's the problem. It's just too damn old. Just like me. Well, this has been a fantastic show. Adam, Jared, I just want to say happy holidays. You know, these holiday shows are always my favorites. And unfortunately, we didn't really go deep into the theme this year. But it is always nice to see the two of you. Adam, pass on my best to your family. Get as much rest as you can.
Thanks.
Jared, keep working on that garage. Get that painting done, man. Get that painting done.
Yeah, no. Hey, I might call on you to maybe help me move some furniture this weekend if you're available.
I think I may be available, so let's do it.
I got the forearm forklifts coming tomorrow.
I've got an N95 mask. I'll put that on. Put on my safety goggles, and I tell you, baby, I'm moving shit around. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Dad. So, in case we are not back for the new year, which would be my guess, probably won't happen. I want everyone else out there listening, have a great Christmas, have a great Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. Have a safe and happy New Year, and the Scope will be back in 2021 with more episodes. So until then, everybody, bye for now.
Sure. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying, Das Vidania. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.